on the right side.
There's something in your past that you can't erase. Build a road in front of you. You can't fix a broken heart in a couple of days. So bring it back or start anew. You'll find your bastion, take to the skies. You'll hear the sweetest of lullabies. You'll learn your history, so steeped in shame. You'll feel the guilt of the ones to blame. Cloudburst, moving in reverse. All cursed, thought it couldn't get worse. Still land, company once grand. Withstand knuckles of your own hand. There's something in your past that you can't erase. Build a road in front of you. You can't fix a broken heart in a couple of days. So bring it back or start anew. Backtrack, building the road back. Stone cracks, hammers on the attack. We ride over the divide. I guide, keep you on the right side. There's something in your past that you can't erase. Build a road in front of you. You can't fix a broken heart in a couple of days. So bring it back or start anew. There's something in your past that you can't erase. Build a road in front of you. You can't fix a broken heart in a couple of days. So bring it back or start anew. Turning back is bound to be just another calamity. Turning back is bound to be just another calamity. Yeah. Turning back is bound to be just another calamity. Turning back is bound to be just another calamity. Yeah. Turning back is bound to be just another calamity. Turning back is bound to be just another calamity. Yeah.
Hello, and welcome to Final Show Films. I'm John, or Senstaku, as you might know me on Twitter, the executive producer here, and I just want to thank you for watching. It really means a lot to us that people watch, listen to, and enjoy our shows. If you want to help us keep making these shows as fun and lively as they can be, please join your fellow fans in supporting us at our Patreon page at patreon.com/fsfilms or by subscribing to our Twitch channel, twitch.tv/finalshowfilms. It really means a lot to us that the amount of you who do support us continue to do so, especially our $25 plus tier supporters on Patreon. Antitonic, Cat Waterflame, Samantha Bates, Maureen Monty, and Gravity Alexander. Every little bit helps, so thank you to all of our patrons and subs. Check us out on Twitter at Final Show Films and on our website at www.finalshowfilms.com for updates, go-live notifications, and more. We love interacting with you, so feel free to tweet at us or email us at finalshowfilms@gmail.com. That being said, please relax and enjoy.
So is there like an available resource just to mix? Okay.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to 2020 and welcome back to Shadows of the Neon, our Werewolf the Apocalypse game that we're running here on Final Show Films. My name is Jack. I am your storyteller for this narrative extravaganza. And joining me tonight is Jeremy.
Hi, my name is Jeremy. I'm playing Aiden Taylor, child of Gaia, Philodox, Hamid, person.
Yeah, a lot of words there. And
Yes.
Craig.
Hi, I'm Craig. I'm playing Sal Mararo, Glasswalker Ragabosh, and I never done nothing wrong.
And Holly.
Hi, I'm Holly. I am playing Dakota. She is a Lupus Galliard Uktena.
And John.
I'm John. I'm playing Hekau, a Hamid Silent Strider Theurge.
And Aaron.
Hi, I'm Aaron. I'm playing Anya, or Anastasia Amros, Metis Galliard Silverfang.
And William.
Hi, I'm William, and I'm playing Ingvar Ulfsdotter, the Hamid, I almost said Uktena, Hamid Getafenris Arun.
And Mara.
Hi, I'm Mara, and I'm playing Alexandra Core, Metis Philodox Black Fury.
And the last time we were in Vegas, the Wings of the Mojave Pack returned from the battleground through a penumbral region known as the World of the Waste, narrowly avoiding conflict with a number of worm-tainted beings, seemingly at least one pack of black spiral dancers, as well as a terrifyingly powerful bane. Fortunately, Hekau's hummingbird spirit guide led them into a frigid transition zone, and by eventually leaping into a glacial river, the pack broke through to the spirit side of Lake Mead, just outside of Vegas itself. With a little bit of effort spent to return to the material side of the gauntlet, largely unobserved, the pack eventually reached the halfway house again, finding the area far more densely occupied than when they had first arrived there. In their absence, not only had the Boulder Hunters pack taken over as Cairn Guardians, filling the gap in Cairn duties that was left by them needing to go on a spirit quest, but the East Coast pack led by Vincent Black Shadow has also apparently taken up residence since they left. And now, after a night of rest, having been had, the pack will prepare to discuss the aftermath of their spirit quest and what will happen next.
We also had a gun deal.
Oh, there were some things going on.
Okay.
Yeah, we were literally driving to a gun deal.
Oh crap! Yes, you were.
That's what Mara was trying to
Are
gently
we-
guide you towards, Jack.
Ignoring
So we
that-
are going to pick up there, actually,
Okay.
not with the next morning.
Cool.
Okay, yeah, no, I forgot something. Look at that. Okay,
It's okay.
So,
It's
yeah.
been a couple weeks.
it has been a couple weeks, and yep,
It's been a couple weeks and holidays.
a
Yeah,
couple weeks. and
Fair.
I went back and re-listened to prep, and I was like, what did I do last time? Oh, I got super high, made up some parable combining Baby Shark and Jaws, and then set up a gun deal.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's okay. That all happened in the last decade, so it's fine.
So, your current vehicle pulls up to the heads towards the location that you were indicated for your arms trade.
I'm really worried about my car now. My current vehicle?
Hey, it's Vegas, man.
Yeah, I know.
Literally anything could happen.
Oh boy.
I mean, it is correctly referred to as your current vehicle at the moment.
Yep. Mhm.
Black market. Do, 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 do.
So, you guys are headed toward which location did I have you going to?
It was
Oh,
a
that's
parking garage, I
right.
think.
It was actually a parking lot.
Parking lot. Okay.
Yep. Down on, I want to say, I gave you the intersection as Desert and Arville. No, it wouldn't have been Desert. Spring Mountain and Arville Street. That's right.
Jack, I will admit I did not write it down. So whatever
That's
you
okay.
say is the case.
So, regardless of what I said last decade, I'm pretty sure it was Spring Mountain and Arville Street.
Sure.
Cool.
All right.
And
Yeah,
as
we'll just go.
As you're driving down, a lot of restaurants on both sides, mostly Asian fare. And then you hang a right down Arville as you're headed west on Spring Mountain. And as far as gun deals go, it's directly across the street, it seems, from a business that's it's basically a shooting gallery.
Okay.
So hopefully they chose this on purpose so that people moving guns between vehicles actually makes a little more sense, depending on what sort of guns are moving between vehicles, at least.
Right.
But it's reasonably active, but not super high traffic.
Okay.
And
Do we
as you
see-
approach, you can see Esteban leaning up against the side of a large powder blue vehicle that is parked in the parking lot. Just kind of scanning the area, waiting to see who shows up first and where.
Sal will stop some distance away and flash his lights.
Jensen sort of rubs his nose a little bit and gives a nod that is probably intended to communicate that your signal has been seen and acknowledged.
I will pull up and to Alex and Ingvar in the car say, either of you want anything while we're here?
No.
One of honestly anything decent, but that shotgun was relatively effective for the time that I held it. So
Good. That's all right then. Well, let's go see what we got. And he'll pull up and hop out.
Do you want us to come with? I've never been to a gun deal before.
Oh, it's just like picking up any other kind of illicit merchandise. Just come on, hop out of the car, keep your eyes open. That whole thing. Try to look casual, but like not, too casual. You'll figure it out. Come on.
I will.
Oh, sure,
hop
you'll
out
be
of the
fine.
car.
It's just like buying cocaine. You've done that before, right?
That's
Alex has so
That-
much experience with the outside world and specifically illegal activities in the outside world.
that. By the way, that definitely seemed to be the implication.
Right. Yeah.
If you need to, just stay quiet and let Sal talk.
Right. Okay.
Just like falling off a powdery log.
I'll hop out.
All right,
Ingvar will follow out.
Mr. Esteban, how you doing?
Hey, Moraro, you doing all right? Find a place okay?
Yeah, it's all right. It's all right.
Okay. How many cops you see on the way over?
How many cops did I see on the way over?
You didn't see any.
Okay.
Were you looking?
I mean, I didn't specify, but yeah, I would have to say that Sal would.
Okay. Go ahead and give me a perception and streetwise difficulty 7.
I will definitely do that in the Roll20 that I am certainly already logged into.
Okay. Good to know.
So I'm sorry, perception and what?
Streetwise.
Okay.
And that's difficulty 7.
Got it.
Whenever I come back and it's really quiet, I feel like it's because you guys are waiting for me to do something. And
Oh,
It
No.
is not.
Hey, not in this case.
It says endurance, but ignore it.
Okay.
2 successes.
2 successes. You did see 3 cops on your way down, but they were headed north up Las Vegas Boulevard.
All right, I'll pass that along.
Yep. All right. Well, headed the other direction. That's good. That's good. And here come our boys. And a pickup truck is pulling in, kind of a drab tan color, probably a mid 90s model. Definitely looks like it's done some time driving the highways out in the desert around here in the past couple decades.
Okay.
A little bit of rust around the wheel wells, that sort of thing. Exactly the sort of thing you would kind of expect to see a firearms enthusiast. It fits the stereotype vehicle, that's for sure.
Okay.
But to your surprise, instead of, a pair of dudes in jeans and flannel shirts or truckers' caps and Hanes t-shirts stepping out, the vehicle stops and 2 young women emerge, mid-20s probably at the oldest, dressed not quite formal, but definitely upscale.
Business casual.
Like a little more business than casual, though.
Anya.
I mean, fair. Yeah, no, yeah.
Huh.
Do they look Guru, kinfolk? Can I tell?
You can go ahead and give me a perception and etiquette.
I'd
Difficulty
like to
7.
make that 2.
Difficulty's 8 for Alex.
Okay. Perception etiquette. 8.
And you said difficulty 8 for Sal as well, or
No, difficulty 7 for Sal. Sal's done this
Okay.
sort of thing before.
I got 3 successes.
Nice.
1 for Sal?
Sal, you're actually having a hard time telling. I mean, they don't read straight Guru, but kinfolk could be a possibility. I mean, Esteban knows them, so there's probably better chance of them being kinfolk than just, 2 people you ran into in the mall. But you're not quite sure. Alex, as you're looking at them, you don't read anything Guru related off of this pair.
Okay.
Yeah, there's something about them that they definitely project a level of competence and knowledge, They're definitely comfortable where they are.
Mm-hmm.
So they've got some level of comfort with this whole situation,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, you don't think they're kinfolk or Guru.
Okay.
Okay.
And Esteban steps forward. Maria, Kimiko, nice to see both of you out this evening. We've got some more people who are interested in the same hobby, so I thought we could get together, have a little bit of a discussion, and see what we might be able to help you with. The darker haired one pulls down her mirrored sunglasses, which, given that it's after sunset, definitely sends a sort of message. Kind of glances at the three of you clustered behind Esteban.
Like a cow.
Sal grins. How you doing?
Right. So let's see what we can set you up with. She steps into the back, pulls down the tailgate, and there is a shaded glass plate directly behind the tailgate, but inside it you can see LEDs just tink 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 light up.
Nice.
Not casting a glow out into the parking lot by any stretch of the imagination with the glass there.
No. But lighting up the merchandise.
And Maria, the other one, pulls out her phone and begins typing something on the screen with her thumbs. So what are we interested in?
What were the specific models? There was a rifle and an automatic pistol that were lost, but what were the specific models? And if you don't know offhand, it just Sal says those.
Okay.
He would like to get suitable replacements for the ones that are lost. Again,
right.
not trying to do a bait and switch, but just hey,
right.
I lost them.
Yeah. No, I think the rifle was a Remington 700, I want to say.
Okay.
Yeah. I do not remember what the machine pistol was.
Okay. Well, if we remember it in character, Sal passes along both of those.
Okay. Yeah, no, I'm sure Sal is probably keenly aware of exactly what got lost.
And then we'll also indicate Ingvar and says, and my friend here is also looking for something, a little personal, or rather for when things get up close and personal.
So a knife?
A little more bang for your buck.
Very well.
You know what I'm saying?
Maria is swiping through something and then just taps a button. And while the interior is lit, that shaded glass makes it very difficult to actually see what's going on.
Okay.
But then another series of lights illuminates the immediate area on the other side of the shaded glass, and you can see several guns sort of slide on some level of carrying technology towards the front and kind of tilt up. And this thing is apparently kind of like a gun jukebox in a sense, where everything's stored, and then depending on what commands they give it, they can bring things to the front for display.
This is the back of a truck, right?
Is that what she's doing on the phone? Is it like an app?
That's your best guess, is that she's got an app on her phone that's communicating with whatever technology's in the
This reeks of Weaver to me. Do I smell anything supernatural about this?
You can go ahead and make a perception and occult roll, difficulty 7, I'll say.
Gun Jukebox is the name of my Ted Nugent cover band.
Hell yeah.
It's Kimiko who's operating it?
Maria is the one who's operating the the app. Kimiko is
Okay.
the one who's doing the
Perception occult. What was the difficulty?
difficulty 7.
Gun Jukebox is the name of my retrograde steampunk aesthetic Guns N' Roses cover band.
2 successes.
Based on what you're seeing, you're not picking up any supernatural thing that you're familiar with. Doesn't appear to be a fetish or a talon of any sort.
Sal's fetish.
You're not seeing. You don't have a lot of experience with the concept of software, but this looks like just a very technologically advanced method of.
I'm sorry, did you say software as in WERE?
Oh yeah, that's a thing.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure.
Yep.
The way you said software was very upsetting viscerally.
Well, that's how I can tell that's the only way I've figured out how to verbally differentiate between software WERE and software WARE. So.
It worked well.
Okay.
How do you differentiate from software WEAR?
That's 2 words, and it's software.
You say it's 2 words. I have a playwright that disagrees with you.
Okay.
Without any of the sort of smarmy "how you doing" aspect in his voice, Sal watches this process and says to Maria, "Hey, can I say this is real nice? This whole setup here. Hats off to you."
Thanks. As you're looking at what's currently on display, they've got about 5 guns there, 2 shotguns, 1 pistol that's close but not exactly to the model of the machine pistol you were looking at, and 2 rifles. One appears to be that same 700. The other one is, which one was that? The other one, which is some Mauser variant.
Okay. Looking at that, okay, definitely the 700 there, and is the pistol variant or is the machine pistol? Is it more or less expensive than the one that we're trying to replace?
Probably a little more.
Okay, all right, and I guess the pistol there, and how about any of those shotguns? Any of those float your boat? Looking at
Ingvar, you can go ahead and roll me an intelligence and
Firearms?
Intelligence and firearms. Just go intelligence and firearms, difficulty 6.
Intelligence, firearms, diff 6. 2 successes.
2 successes. Neither of them are models that you recognize specifics on. Both of them look significantly nicer than the one that you were wielding in the battleground.
Can I tell any details about their operation, like drum-fed, automatic, semi-automatic, etc.?
Based on what you're seeing, looks like both of them are semi-autos.
Is that all I'm seeing about them?
That's pretty much all. With 2 successes, that's pretty much everything that you've got. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Do either of them look small enough to be held in one hand?
No.
Okay. They're interesting. I'm more of a sawn-off person myself, but they definitely look good if there's nothing smaller.
3 more taps, and the 2 shotguns retract and slide somewhere back into the lower lit area of the bed, and 2 more come back out. These are much more of a compact organization to them. Both of them have basically the folding stock pistol grip kind of build to their design. Lighter rounds, but if you're looking for something that functions that way.
They look similar to the last shotguns, but smaller, basically.
Right. And it looks like these are 20 gauge rather than your standard 12.
That looks good to me.
Are they automatics?
These are semi-autos, yeah. Mhm.
Okay. All right. Can I roll just to see if that seems like a good fit for Ingvar?
Yeah, intelligence and firearms. Difficulty 7.
Okay. Good lord. My mouse is jumping all over the place. 2 successes. So same, I guess.
Yeah, based on what Ingvar was putting forth as her preferences, probably fairly accurate, especially if she's looking for something a little lighter, a little more easily controllable.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll wait for Ingvar to pick one then.
Is there any difference between the two, or are they basically identical?
The main difference between the two, one of them has a composite stock, the other one's wood. The wooden one honestly looks a little more elegant, a little more formal almost in a sense. The concept of actually having, because a folding stock that's made out of composite materials obviously is just very kind of practical, laid out. A folding stock that's made out of, that has wood as a significant component to it, requires a higher level of design and engineering, more or less. And that's evident by its outward appearance as well.
So one is fancier.
One is fancier, right. If you ask for specifics, they'll tell you that the one that has the wood stock has a magazine capacity of 4 + 1 in the chamber. The composite stock one has a magazine capacity of 6 + 1 in the chamber.
So this one seems to be a bit more form over function then.
Well, with shotguns, if you can't get it done in 1, maybe 2, then you shouldn't be doing the job in the first place.
That's fair, but she doesn't finish this. She doesn't finish the thought of I've seen things bigger than this shotgun can take on in one shot. But
yeah, no, that's fair.
That's fair, but I'm more of a functional girl, so I'll take the larger capacity.
Very well. And the rifle and machine pistol for you, sir?
Yeah. You got anything? That really made you all sit up and take notice when it came into your attention? I'm looking for something special.
Well, there's a number of variants and options, but we'll need to know what sort of job you're looking for. We're not going to try and market you a SAM if what you're looking for is shooting tests.
Well, here's the thing.
You actually, when they say Sam, you see Ingvar's head just kind of like dog whistle, just.
Oh, Sal says, yeah, we'll come back to that in just a second. Since I'm here, I figure I might pick something up for myself. What do you got that would really let me be a pain in the neck from as far away as possible?
Oh, easily enough. And Maria does a swipe, and you hear now, as you know, it's mostly been just a kind of quiet hissing sound as things slide back and forth. There's this definite cha-chung, cha-chung somewhere in there, and then a number of other rifles come on out. There is a Barrett.
Okay.
They've got a couple Russian origin ones as well. But yeah, you're displayed with 4 large caliber sniper rifles that could probably, with proper adjustment, tuning, and skill, put a sizable hole in something about a mile away. and then some.
Which is the most modern, or barring that, the one that is most susceptible to being modified?
Well, the Russian ones are pretty mod friendly.
Okay.
As far as which ones are the most modern, all of these look like they were manufactured sometime within the last 5 years.
I rolled intelligence and firearms difficulty 7 again. I got 4 successes. Sal knows a lot more about firearms than I do as a player. Which one looks most attractive?
Are you going for power or accuracy?
Accuracy.
There's a Tango 51.
Okay. All right. I'll go with that.
Okay.
Tap that one, and then say, and then back to. Do you actually have a Sam?
No, of course not. With wide smiles on both of them.
And I'm sorry, Jack. That was what she said. No, what? She said no, and then what?
No, of course not.
Okay.
Smile.
Sal,
the shitting grin.
Sal turns and grins at Alex and Ingvar and says, "Man, this is gonna make Vinny's fucking day." It turns back and says, "Well, if you were ever to have one come in stock, well, you might conceivably direct an individual to it. I have somebody who that might make very, very happy."
Excellent.
So hypothetically, with these fine items that we've picked out, and with that just absolute pie in the sky, never gonna come true style dream, what would all that run a film?
They quote you a significantly large number.
Is it something that Sal can take care of with his...
How many dots of resources do you have?
4.
4. It'll be tight, but you can probably pull it off.
Okay. Can I try to talk him down a little bit?
Go ahead and give me a manipulation and etiquette roll, I'll say.
And I am going to be looking around because these are 2 people in a truck with a lot of merchandise, and they didn't seem phased when a larger group of people than they were probably expecting came out. So I want to see if they have any backup around.
Oh, okay.
I'm curious.
That'll be perception and alertness, difficulty 6.
Okay.
This is a stretch, but I haven't gotten to use it for anything yet. Does animal magnetism help me out at all here, Jack?
Sure, why not?
Okay, fantastic. I at this point I forget what that does. It lowers the difficulty by 2, I think.
Let me see.
Is it a specialization or an ability?
It's a background feat thing. A merit, I mean.
A merit.
Oh.
It makes Sal very sexy to humans and kinfolk.
Yeah. Let me see. Merits and flaws. Where'd you go?
So he's trying to make this back alley black market gun deal as sexy as possible.
Which really, why do people get into arms dealing if not for the sexiness factor?
Mara's face.
I mean, they've made several movies about how being an arms dealer is apparently a very sexy profession. So,
right.
And 1 or 2 where it's definitely not, to be fair.
Yeah. And we leave it to the audience as to which they enjoy more. God.
In Burn Notice, arms dealers tend to get blown up, so I tend to go with that interpretation.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Then again, Fiona Glenann likes to blow people up, so it might be more her than the arms dealing thing. But
I'm gonna point out that they tend to get blown up, but everything in Burn Notice is framed as sexy, whether or not it is is blown up or actually sexy or not.
It's true. The explosions are also framed as very sexy.
Yep. So animal magnetism does reduce the difficulty by 2. Yep.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
So what is my difficulty now?
So reduced by 2, your difficulty is going to be 5.
Okay. So you all know my dice luck. I'm definitely going to go bust on this thing anyway. All right. Wait. 4 successes!
4 successes. All right. So rather than the 2 that it was going to be temporarily bumped down to, and the week that it was going to last, your resources, your effective resources dots currently are only down to 3, and only for 4 days.
Okay. All right. And do I get some phone numbers?
You actually they take your phone number.
All right.
If it's offered, they do not provide their own.
Absolutely. I mean, it's definitely offered.
Okay.
Okay.
And Alex, did you make your perception roll?
Yep, I got 2.
2 successes. You kind of scan around trying to get a read for the bigger picture situational awareness rather than just this current interaction here. You see 1 or 2 other cars. You don't see if there's anybody in them or how many. I mean, you can tell that there are people in them, you would expect, because both of them are running and their lights are on.
Yeah.
But so at least 2 vehicles that might be backup for these 2.
Okay.
With 2 successes, I don't think if you'd see anything else. You notice a couple aspects of the vehicle that you can't quite explain. That might be some level of security feature, but you don't really know how or what the practical upshot of those would be.
Okay. And then I would just, because I do it all the time and I might as well, just do a sense worm just in case.
Okay.
So that's, what difficulty is that right
now? Difficulty for this one would be 6.
Okay.
You're out in the open in the middle of a city.
Yep. It's probably nothing, but I'm going to try it too.
There's actually a surprisingly little dense nexus of worm taint deep within the vehicle somewhere.
Oh, okay.
Like probably sort of middle of the bed, about halfway back, and a little lower than you would expect the floor of the bed of the truck to be.
That's where the rocket launcher's at.
All with the weirdness that I noticed with the truck and the security system, or not?
No, like nothing else about the vehicle registers. Nothing about the 2 of them registers beyond the normal sort of ambient. Hi, we're arms dealers. Destruction is part of our life.
Yep.
You know. So yeah, everything is about what you'd expect, except for that one little nugget.
That's where the high explosives are at.
No. Okay. I'll keep that to myself right now.
Yeah, but yeah, there's a pretty decent, small but intense ping down in there. Not remotely what you would have probably been picking up as you guys were trying to come back from the battleground, obviously. But yeah, there's something happening. A little something.
Just for flavor clarification, potentially for Mara, but also for like audience and me. Is what William's saying just a joke, or is that like?
That's absolutely a joke. That's me kidding.
Okay.
Yeah, no, not.
I don't know enough about this.
Not all manufactured plastic explosives give off specific worm taint. No.
Okay. It's something.
No, it has to have a spiritual resonance for that sort of thing to happen.
No, that's just a joke on the worm is the essence of destruction. So obviously the thing that would be the most worm tainted is the mini nuke in the truck.
Yeah. So as Sal keeps flirting along, then Alex starts to get anxious, like shifting.
Shifting as in back and forth on your feet, or shifting as in changing form? Because those are
not changing. No, correct.
Well,
you need
that's
to be
good.
specific.
Yep. And Maria, and as soon as that happens, Alex, you notice Maria her head just turns a fraction of an angle, and she's wearing those sunglasses, but you can pretty well tell she is just staring directly at you.
Yep. You done, Sal?
Sal looks over with some reluctance and says, "Yeah. I guess we ought to be getting back. So you all want to have any more discussions, or like I said, I'd love to hear more about what you all done to the car, because beautiful work."
Little attachment gets clicked into the phone, and they hold it out for you to swipe your card.
All right, we'll do so.
Okay. At which point, there's another sort of whispering rattle from inside the vehicle. A couple things sound like they slide into place. And then one of the side panels just kind of folds out. And all the guns that you guys have purchased are just seated there.
Any sign of the Pentex, Semtex as it rolls past?
Not that you notice.
Okay, no.
You
wouldn't be looking
nothing
for it
visible.
Anyway. All right. So to be clear, we have a rifle, a machine pistol, a sniper rifle, and a surface-to-air missile launcher.
No, Sam is squad automatic weapon. Yeah, Sam is squad automatic weapon. It's a machine gun.
Okay, all right.
Don't worry,
Fair.
Alex will ask that later.
And a sawn-off shotgun.
Okay.
You
Still.
Yeah, you do not have a Sam. You do not have a that was not part of. They did not have that with them.
Well,
Okay.
Yeah.
No, you guys have 4 weapons. You have the shotgun for Ingvar, the 2 replacements apparently to make up for, and the Tango 51 sniper rifle.
Okay.
When you're referring to a surface-to-air missile, typically the word array or installation is added after it, not just Sam by itself.
Yeah, like talking gun parlance, Sam is a machine gun.
Yeah.
Fair. Okay. All right.
Yeah, usually a belt-fed kind of.
Still something that Vinny's going to be excited about, but maybe not as excited as I was initially picturing.
Vinny's a gun nut. You don't think he would really honestly even know what to do with a surface-to-air missile. Like, he'd probably be intrigued by the concept.
I know what he'd do with it.
But he'd be like, okay, but what the fuck am I ever gonna do with this stuff?
Hunting.
I feel like perhaps the
Hunting
person
civilians?
who's in
What?
charge of our Karen at the moment would not be super fond of giving our gun nut a service air missile.
No.
They to be clear, they did not provide an actual squad automatic weapon at the moment.
No, this was a small arms, non-automatic, largely deal.
Is there an implication that they may get back in touch about that?
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, no, they took your number, so you're in the little black book now.
Okay.
I mean, he's always been in the little black book. He has everyone's number in that little black book.
Or less.
Yeah, I mean, there's every chance that you also have their number. They just don't know that yet.
Yeah. Fair.
For less confusing terms, you can refer to it as an LMG.
Yeah, LMG is another good term.
That I know is not a missile.
William.
Fair.
I mean, I wasn't the one who initially called it a Sam.
No, that was me. Because I wanted you guys to be confused and possibly make some wrong interpretations for comedy.
Okay, so
and it worked.
Worked on Craig.
Yeah, I think we're ready to wrap up and head back.
Okay.
I'll give Esteban a handshake, one-armed hugs.
Yep. And word on the network is that somebody will be stopping by tomorrow. And so yeah, get your stories prepped.
Yeah, you got it. And just I know you already met the kid. He points at Alex. Mar, that was you were not there that time. That was at the moot.
Yeah, and I did listen to the whole thing.
Okay. I'm not sure if you met Ingvar Ulfsdottir here, but
Nah, this one's reputation precedes it. He sticks out a hand.
She shakes it.
And Ms. Ulfstad, for what it's worth, that little shitbag had it coming. So don't worry about that.
He had it coming, but to be fair, I was pissed about a lot of other stuff that led up to that. So he kind of just
And you took it out on somebody who had it coming, so it could have been a lot worse. Is what I'm.
He pressed the wrong button at the wrong time.
All right. Well, best of luck to you, and hopefully these things put holes in all the right stuff for you.
I fucking put holes in something. Thank you. You be good, huh?
Yeah, you take care. All right. I need myself some fucking Korean barbecue. I'll catch you later. And he just walks off towards one of the restaurants nearby.
Okay.
I head back to the car.
Wrap up the stuff, put it in the back, put it under a duffel bag.
Okay.
Hop in the car.
All right. The drive back to the halfway house is uneventful. And
What the hell is a SAM? I say that at some point. Anyway, carry on.
It's a squad automatic weapon. It's a machine gun.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna assume Sal actually knew that and was not as confused as I was.
Give me another intelligence and firearms difficulty 6.
I mean, it would be funny if Sam thinks he's getting a missile launcher.
Sal thinks he's getting a fucking missile.
He's gonna open it up like, what the fuck is this?
Plane's gonna have to be really damn close for me to take something down with this.
Or you just have to be real,
Yeah.
like inside.
5 successes.
Yes, you are aware that they were probably referring to the automatic firearm, not the surface-to-air missile.
That Sal will explain.
Yeah,
It sounds like Ingvar's got it covered.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's all I needed. Anyway, carry on.
This starts to feel a little bit more like home. Back home, there was an arsenal that was kept by the cairn, and I ended up training with just about everything in it, or carrying several of them with me at a time.
There was something in that truck that stank like worm, though.
really,
Yeah.
anything that we took back with us, or something that stayed in there?
No. Would I have to? I could check again.
Are we talking inventory, or are we talking somebody hiding in there that we couldn't see?
No, it was small and like in the middle. The back in the middle of like the bed.
It'd have to be a particularly dangerous weapon if it was any of their inventory.
Or whatever electronics or moving stuff around in there. I don't know.
That sounds like something we ought to probably let Jensen know on the quiet, just to keep him up to date about the people he's working with.
Alex is good there. She won't say anything else.
Got it. All right. So you guys make it back to the halfway house.
Careless whisper all the way.
Sure. Which brings us to Anya.
I'm gonna see if I can locate Aiden because I have a stinking suspicion he is drinking.
A drinking suspicion he is stinking.
Did I say the thing wrong?
No.
No, you said it right.
You said it right.
I then backwards it.
Well, no, you said it right. Then you said it backwards and changed the word because it was sneaking suspicion, not stinking.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Anyway.
Yeah. Just gonna see if I can find him.
Yep.
Swapping letters around.
He will probably not be that hard to find. He's in his room. He's actually not drinking at this particular moment.
Okay. Knock on the door.
Come.
Comes on in. Hello.
He is smoking.
Smoking doesn't necessarily give you a hangover, from what I understand.
Nope.
Not unless you get green sick.
Aiden,
What's up?
Nothing major. Simply, I wanted to let you know. Oh, you probably received notification. There will be meeting tomorrow
Right.
at
Yeah.
the time.
Yep.
All right.
I did receive that notification because we put that stuff on. No, it's fine. Yeah.
Yes, but I apologize. I was unsure of if you would be conscious and unalcoholed enough to retain the information. My mistake.
That's quite
You must understand. I grew up
complimentary
in
of
Russia. People get blackout drunk a lot in Russia.
right. So you're saying I make you feel at home. Good.
Of course. That is what I meant.
Right. Yes, that is totally what you meant. We
I
will
simply
pretend
had
that's the
many
case.
instructor who would not see notices because of the blackout drunk.
Right.
All right. Is that
Are we done now, or is this? Can we continue this awkwardness? Oh, you had other things. Sorry.
Is there anything particular you need me to have prepared for tomorrow?
It's not my fucking meeting, so I have no idea.
That is completely fair. But you're alpha, so if there's things you want brought up at the meeting, I can prepare them for you.
Honestly, at the moment, I don't have anything. I don't have anything in mind. I mean, no.
Could I
think we
ask
are
of a
probably
thing?
good. Huh?
Is it too presumptuous for me to ask of a specific thing?
No, you can absolutely ask.
You may have better assessment of this than I. How injured do you think people are? I know psychological injury quite, but
Physically?
physically, that last dash, I was near front. I did not see.
They're gonna be fine. Nobody that I could see at least was hurt on a level that a quick shift isn't gonna fix it.
I see. Thank you. I was unsure of this.
No, that is a fair question. If there had been like some serious injuries, that would have been handled as soon as we were. Yeah, but we're good. We are fine.
That is completely fair. Thank you for your time.
Yep.
And Anya will leave because her big question was, I don't know who's injured.
That's fair.
Yeah.
To be clear, now that I've said it, that was accurate, right?
I think so, but
I'm 90% sure that.
Okay,
accurate.
I was pretty sure that nobody had suffered like egg damage or anything like that, where they're slow healing.
No.
So yeah.
No. Pretty
Cool.
much. Yep.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah, with that resolved.
And Alex, what time did you set the meeting for the next morning?
I think it was like 11. It was the same time as the previous one.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it was the time we established was reasonable.
Yep.
Standard
Not too
meeting
early.
schedule time. Okay. Sounds good. The night passes fairly quietly then. Dakota, as you sleep, you have dreams where serpentine figures, silhouettes slither in and out. Constant sense of whispering, but nothing that you actually catch. Despite the usual affiliations with reptiles and snakes generally, with the worm in Guru culture, you're fairly certain upon waking that this was more of an Uktena type serpent than anything else. Ingvar, your dreams are full of drums, flame. dew on grass, quiet mornings spent holding your breath, preparing for conflict. The silence before battle, the cold and chill that creeps into the warrior's bones as they wait and wait for that eventual command that will release them. But in your dreams, that command never comes. It's just waiting, preparing. Next morning, everybody awakes. You all get a point of willpower back for a full night's rest. And you don't have anything on your schedule today until the meeting. Is there anything anybody needs to accomplish before then specifically?
I want to retrieve my money from Juniper. I
Okay.
left it before.
Yep.
Dakota's just gonna check in on Hakao and make sure he's doing okay.
Jack, do you get that extra point of rage when you buy a new point of rage or not?
Yes.
Okay. So
Also, what was the moon last night? So who gets rage back?
We already covered that moon last
Oh, did
night.
we? Did
Yeah.
we? Because I was still at 1 rage for something.
did we? Because I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't think we did because it
No.
wasn't nighttime yet.
Yeah, because when we got back, it wasn't night yet.
Thought that was like one of the last things we did when we were talking about driving around town. But previous night was...
Oh yeah, I only have one too.
I had no rage, so
Yeah.
if we had, I would have had at least one.
Last night would have been Waning Gibbous.
So that's 4.
Which means who?
Which... Gibbous is Galliard Moon.
Okay.
Okay. So Galliards get full, everyone else gets 1?
Yes.
Okay.
Wait,
I only
didn't
needed
everyone else
one,
get
but-
4? Because it's a gibbous moon?
Yeah, you get a certain amount of rage points based on what moon it is.
Yeah,
Oh.
I think we get
Mhm.
4.
New moon, you only get 1. Up to full moon, you get 5 back.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Mhm.
It goes
Yeah.
through the phases like that. So we all get 4 back.
Okay.
Yes.
Unless
Except
you're
for you
Galliards.
Galliards who get all of them back if you had less than.
Well, I have 4 max, and I'd only spent 1, so yeah.
Full moon is good for all of the werewolves. The Arun just get all of the extra rage on top of that.
Yep.
Yep. Mhm.
Um.
No. It's a waning gibbous. So it's not the phase. It's whether it's waxing, waning, or full or new. It's a waning gibbous. So if you didn't get full, you get 2.
Oh.
That still fills me up. All right.
Okay. Yeah. No, it's under a new moon you get 1 point. Under a waning moon, 2 points. Under a half or waxing moon, 3 points. Under a full moon, 4.
That's
Right.
that's Crescent and Gibbous is what they're talking about.
That's not what the book says.
We'll worry about it later.
Yep.
I think we're all. Are we all full? I mean, we can.
No.
Oh, okay.
I think. Anyways.
I'm like too short. It's not a problem.
Oh, good. Yeah,
Okay.
I'm not full, but that's fine.
Okay.
I wouldn't have been full either way. So, yeah, no, interesting. Dakota's not the only person who's going to check on Hakao.
Cool. So we'll say that Aiden and Dakota more or less meet outside
Yep.
Hakao's door.
Yep. Hey.
How are you, Aiden?
I'm been worse. Been better.
I feel like that's how you usually are.
That's a pretty apt statement. Yeah. Yeah. I suppose. Give me a moment. Knock on the door.
It opens. You know, thank you, buddy. You notice that Hakao isn't actually there. There's a string tied to the handle going into the cardboard boxes that have been established as a pallet.
Wait, what?
So Hakao, the door opens, but Hakao's not standing there.
Right.
There is a string
right,
tied
yes.
to the door handle that goes in the middle of the room.
Right.
In the middle of the
Okay,
room, there is
yes.
a
I
series of
remembered the
cardboard
box.
boxes.
The string description made no sense to
Sorry.
me in my head.
There's some real Little Rascal stuff going on in there.
Like
Yeah.
I did some Rube Goldberg like conceptualize it in my head and it didn't work.
And that was way more complicated than it needed to be.
Right. Looking.
Hakao.
Yes.
Hey.
How
Yes.
are you doing?
Better.
Good.
Hard to be serious when my son is mimicking me.
Right? I figured you needed a little bit of time. Just want to know if you wanted or needed, even if you don't need, if you just want to talk. Or if you need more time, that's fine too.
I'll be fine.
Okay. Look over at Dakota and look back.
Can Dakota get like
Oh yeah, the door's open.
access Hakao? Okay.
You'd have to crawl. You'd have to crawl into the cardboard palace to get it to him. But
Oh yeah. She'll crawl in there.
it's
He
again.
just steps inside and closes the door.
It is more spacious than it should be, and very nicely comfortable. And Hikao is just Hikao is laying on his back, sort of staring at what you see are he's sort of laying on his back with an ink brush, and is just sort of idly drawing on the ceiling of the cardboard.
What is he drawing?
Hieroglyphs.
Those are pretty.
Of the things you learn is in a Silent Strider character. Language of our people.
I'm sorry, Gabriel's making me crack up.
I don't know why. I don't know what he's doing.
Anyway, Dakota
Even the
will
sheriff.
Dakota will give him a hug.
He will turn the hug with the one hand that's not holding an ink brush.
Are you hungry?
Not particularly.
You should probably eat at some point.
I have bread.
Definitely.
You should eat more than bread.
I have magic bread. He sort of says in a confused like wording. It's like obviously, but no, yeah, that's right. You wouldn't know that.
You should eat more than magic bread.
It provides all the sustenance you need for a full day.
Yes. Food provides more than just sustenance.
I'll be back, and Dakota's gonna leave
Awesome.
and go get food.
Awesome. And
He's-
Aiden has not gone into the box, to be clear.
Yeah.
He's sort of standing out. So he does sort of crunch around. So he's not just like talking to the box. There is like still a visual. He's just not walking in on Hikao's face. So I'm not going to push you on this. You're going to know your limitations and what's best for you best at this point. I'm just going to say that in my experience, both personal and working with other people, I'll be fine is the international sign for I am not fine. And I may not be fine. That's a phrase I've used very regularly. It's shorthand for I don't want to talk about it, but I don't want to tell you I don't want to talk about it, because then you're going to think there's something wrong. And you can't really respond to I'll be fine with, okay, tell me more. I'm not saying this is a case of what it is for you. You may very well be 100% fine. I'm not sure that you are. I'm sure that you will be. I'm just saying what was for me and what my perspective is on that. And if it's similar for you, I think you should talk to somebody. It doesn't have to be me. Honestly, when Dakota gets back, that's probably the better option.
I appreciate it. And you're right, I'm not fine. You hear the sound of cardboard tearing?
Right.
As he crawls out and hands you a piece of cardboard.
Yep.
That has on it, it's Egyptian hieroglyphs. But looking at it, you can probably tell that it's depicting some form of ritual.
Right.
I talked to Dakota last night.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not fine, but I will be.
Okay.
This is the instructions for the ritual to create the fetish that we failed to finish in the battlegrounds.
Okay.
I've been copying them down so I don't forget.
Awesome. Good work. I feel like I need to correct you on one thing, though. We didn't fail.
Sorry, I have a child that is
It's
very
all right.
intent on being in my lap right now.
It's all right. We didn't fail in what we were trying to do. Unfortunately, sometimes with the things we have to do, that's what a win looks like. The only reason that I'm saying it that way, because I don't want you to feel like you did anything wrong there. Or didn't do enough, or didn't get everything you needed there. Thank you for this. I'll
translate
out
it into English later. That was just the first thing I thought of.
No, that's fair, and that's perfect. And we have this should, I don't know. Yeah.
Oh, we'll need to make it. The question is who's going to perform the actual ritual. It requires ritual combat between the fetish maker and the spirit. I'm sure you're aware I am not necessarily the one you would choose for a ritual combat.
Actually, rolling that back a little bit, because Looking Glass specifically did make sure that this was communicated to you. The ritual allows for a proxy to perform the combat part.
Okay, sorry. It seems to me that it had to be one of the fetish makers, so it had to be either me or Looking Glass. I didn't realize it could have been someone else.
It could have been somebody else.
But
Looking Glass was like,
badass.
this is my fucking fight.
Gotcha.
Right.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So rolling that back then.
Is it correct to say that it had to be the same person who did the conversation part?
No.
Okay.
Okay.
That was the incorrect thing that was in my notes. Good to know.
So, rolling it back, we can perform this ritual whenever.
Okay.
Would probably want Ingvar to take that portion.
Absolutely.
Combat by proxy against the spirit. I can do the bargaining, but I am not the person to wield the blade.
Yep. That is fair.
Jack, could an existing blade of silver be used in place of a freshly forged one? Like, could we turn Ingvar's fang dagger into this new fetish?
Fang daggers.
Fang daggers are definitely not made of
they're not
silver.
silver?
They're
I thought
always
You're
made
thinking
of
claves.
Yeah,
Clave.
you're thinking of a clave.
Right.
Yeah.
Could an
Yeah.
existing clave be turned into?
No, a clave is already a thing. You can't turn it into anything else.
Okay, so it would have to be a fresh blade. Got it.
Yeah, Clave has a war spirit bound into it.
Yeah, well, I just wanted to check.
Yep,
I think
no worries.
this one does too. Also, have a, isn't it just basically a clave but designed to specifically kill weavers?
No, actually, this one has a wild spirit of chaos bound into it.
Okay, that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the Weaver's order, so you want to bind a chaos thing into this weapon.
We'll need a blade of silver forged. I don't know if there are any blade forgers in the city, but
You know who to ask, Aiden. There
Yep.
once we forge a blade, we can perform the ritual. All that else is required is summoning a spirit,
Cool.
and I'll translate these so that it can be archived for
No,
future
we've
use.
got a little bit of time. Actually, you know exactly how much time we have. How much time do
I
we
look
have?
at my hand. How much time do we have?
It's about a third gone. So you still have about
2 weeks or 20 days.
a little under 3 weeks left. Yeah.
thought it
We've
was
got time.
It was
You got about 2.5 weeks left.
okay, yeah. As I look at my hand, about 2.5 weeks left.
Awesome. All right. Well, I'm gonna take off. I think you're about to get inundated with food.
Is Dakota back at this point?
Sure.
As you say that, she will walk in with just like this tray, like piled high with everything.
Dakota's carrying something that looks like she ran down to the nearest, we'll say 2.5-star hotel, just stole the entire continental breakfast and ran back down the sidewalk.
Amazing.
There is also like a little vase with like little flowers in it.
You have
On
no
the
idea where she
tray.
got that, but yeah.
Speak of the
Don't
devil.
question, Dakota.
So, yes.
You guys hungry?
Dakota, I'm good. I've got a couple. I'm gonna go try. I'm gonna try to do a morning practice. I don't know how that's gonna go, but do me a favor and show this jackass here why food is good for more than just sustenance. Is important for more than just keeping you physically alive.
Okay.
Awesome.
Oh, and she'll hand Aiden like a protein bar.
Yep.
You do need something.
I was gonna eat.
But I'm just making sure.
Thank you.
Welcome. That didn't sound sincere.
That heads out.
What I absolutely love is Aiden's very sort of Cable-esque vibe interacting with all of these other people.
Little bit. I'd never considered it that way before. Old Cable, not young Cable.
Old Cable, yes,
So
not
what we're
Kid
saying
Cable.
is, so what we're saying is Aiden's true name is Aiden Summers.
Kid Cable, or as my favorite term for him is, dial up.
Right.
Oh,
Right?
So
It's
proud
good.
of you.
Oh yeah,
So
yeah. No,
it's-
that's so good.
it's dial-up and basic cable.
To be clear, that's not mine. That is credit to Arthur Rex at XavierFiles.com. Anyways.
And no, his full name would not be Aiden Summers. It would be Aiden Nathan Christopher
Christopher
Charles
Dayspring
Daystar.
Ascani,
Right.
Yeah.
Dayspring Ascani Summers. Don't
But
get
yes.
us started on X-Men. Okay.
So
Back
I'm
to what
going
we were
to.
actually doing.
So Aiden goes off. He is just going to try and find a straight, approximately 5.5 foot, 6 foot
Male, female, what are we talking?
staff.
Sorry. Oh, okay.
That still doesn't answer that question, Jeremy.
No, we got to do this
Staff
soul
member.
style. So you need a new staff, so which is sort of your subtextual boyfriend or girlfriend.
Right.
Mhm. Okay.
And is going to try to get very awkward practicing in because it's
Aiden gets very awkward practicing it with his boyfriend. Got it.
All right. Go ahead and roll me. Fuck it. We'll make it wits and survival, difficulty 6, because I can't
Wits
think
and
of another good
survival. Okay.
scrounging roll.
okay. I think that one is in here.
So just because I don't know enough out of game, do the cogs have a like specific staff fetish that they use?
Kaku staffs are very generally you're given your staff by the person who trains you,
Mhm.
etc. And not specifically, but the fact that the staff that you use is essentially you work with it until it's an extension of yourself.
Yeah, like there's a certain amount of like personal connection to an individual staff. I was wondering if there was any special quality about a typical Iskaku staff or not.
Not necessarily. It's just
they
that
tend to be fairly individualized.
Yeah,
to
they're
the-
very
to the
individualized.
wielder.
Some people carve important life events into their staves. Some people use particular types of wood. But it's simply a matter for him of this will be a staff he's unfamiliar with, so it's gonna be super awkward.
Yeah, I was just curious as to whether or not the Coggies have like their own version of the clave, like the Fenris have the Jarl hammers, or like the Iron hammers.
So I got 3 successes.
3 successes. You're able to find a sturdier than usual broomstick.
Okay.
Like, it's honestly about as good as you could hope for just poking around an apartment complex.
Oh no, for sure.
It'll serve for practicing, but this is not.
No.
You're going to need a new staff at some point. Yeah.
Yeah, it's mostly just keeping the practice, keeping the katas.
Yeah, the skills and the forms down.
And the emotional aspect. So yeah, that's what he's doing before.
Oh shit, that was the okay. Yeah, that was the thing about her character that I had wanted to put points in, but hadn't had enough at character creation. Ignore me.
Okay. Anything else anybody has to do before the meeting?
Alex wanted to head over to the meeting area early.
Okay.
And see.
By which you mean Anya's office, which
Yes,
for the record she's in, but
Yep. Oh, I know. I figured. Hi.
Anya will sort of open the door. It's as immaculate as you have come to expect.
Yep.
Except for, as opposed to like all of the books being perfectly aligned on these lawyer-style shelves, like you would see in like a business office, there are several clear gaps and about 4 books piled up on the side of the desk. That's an open one that's, I don't think Alex speaks Chinese.
Nope.
Or reads Chinese.
Mm-mm.
is in hand. Oh, hello. I did not realize we were starting early. Please come in.
I'm not. I just wanted to stop in and make sure. Sorry that I put it on the thing at your office, but I didn't know where
I
else.
strongly appreciate that you put it on the thing. My
Good.
office is soundproofed. It is a good place. Come in.
All right.
Come in.
Yep.
And I have a thing that I totally forgot to share with Jack.
Oh, okay.
Let's see if this actually works.
And
You know what? We're just gonna upload it to Slack because
Okay,
I can't
that'll be
figure out
fine.
how to do anything else right now.
No worries.
I made a slightly more detailed version of Anya's office.
Oh, fantastic.
Cool. Alex is gonna flop down on a couch and start playing on her phone.
Oh, are we at meeting time?
No, this
no.
is in advance of meeting time.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Ingvar also has some specific training to do in the time before.
I don't know if those measurements are even remotely right for what Anya would have converted. They're just the size that this.
That'll work just fine. I'll drop it onto the Roll20 here in just a
because
second.
previously I just had something that was a sketch, and I felt like this might help. Yeah. Apologies that it's probably not on a perfect grid. Anyways, yes, please come in.
And at some point when I'm... Were you saying something? Sorry, I didn't want to...
What is it you need?
Oh, I just wanted to just make sure that everything was okay. Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you are curious if things are okay. Looks at Alex's phone.
I'm playing Pokemon.
I see. This is inferior Ingress. I see.
What?
Are you unfamiliar with Ingress? Is delightful game of conspiracies and secret plots. It is on phones. And Anya will pull up another GPS-based mobile game.
Wasn't that made by the same company?
Yes. It is made by the same company, but it's a territory control game.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's the game that they made before Pokemon.
Yeah, that they made before Pokemon Go. They got them to make Pokemon Go, yeah.
I don't know.
It is slightly more strategic, is because if you create, and Anya will go into extensive detail about the aspects of competitive Ingress play.
Alex will, in the meantime, Google that and start downloading it.
You should be enlightened. We are enlightened.
This is amazing.
There are two factions, enlightened and resistance. Resistance are wrong. You should be enlightened.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm Team Instinct. Thank you very much.
I will follow those instructions. Because Alex doesn't know.
For the record, Aaron plays resistance.
Yeah.
So, I'm sorry, Ingress fans.
It's okay. All two of them are too busy doing other things to watch.
God. It's actually a pretty popular game.
It's fairly popular.
It is. I'm just teasing.
I also wanted to give you a heads up that people have been complaining to me, and I figured it needed to be brought up in the group so that we could address it as a group because it's group stuff. Just things didn't go great in the Umbra. Stuff happened. I don't know.
They did not. Dakota?
She's not there, is she?
No.
She was asking if it was Dakota.
Oh.
Can't say. We'll find out.
Can I insight check that?
Yeah.
Figure it out from...
Wits and empathy.
What do I have to do to
Contested
lie?
by manipulation and subterfuge. Both at
Okay.
6.
Can I make an argument for wits and leadership? Who is complaining about someone in the workplace is a leadership role.
Okay, I'll allow it. Mhm.
Does my specialty apply?
Yes, it would. Mhm.
Awesome.
I got 4 successes.
Nice. Mhm.
Yeah, I don't think I know.
Yep, nope. Alex is doing fairly well at walling that off.
Mhm.
Discretion. Okay.
Yep.
Yep.
Cool. Well, I appreciate the information, but I cannot help you bring up these concerns or resolve these concerns or help with these concerns if you are not a little more specific. I apologize.
Well, it's kind of on how that final battle went and where people ended up and what they ended up doing. It could have been people could have been resistance. I don't know exactly how this game works, Aaron, but Alex will attempt to show if there is a way in the game to show how that people weren't deployed very well. She will attempt to show that on her phone and show you that, or like broadcast it to yours if that's how the game works. I don't know how this works.
Yeah.
But Alex is attempting.
I feel
to
like
use the
Alex would
language
probably
of-
have to switch back to Pokemon for that, but you know.
Then I would do that. Alex knows how that stuff works, and she would try and
Fair
explain it in that language because it is something we have connected on. So
yeah. Yes, with gamer analogies there.
You pull up a gym that's all dragon Pokemon and then show a team that is all normal types.
And the person who put their 100 CP shiny in the gym.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Sure.
Ignore us. We're
it's
getting
okay.
into the details of things that don't matter. I can see that. There is no perfect way to distribute people. That is why I was... But perhaps also is important to understand that overall perspective, bird's eye view is purview of command.
Mhm.
Sometimes it can seem that your place in company, in pack, is that things are not happening or they are not being done, at least not in way you would like. But it is the perspective of those in control to try and balance what people would like with what will be effective, and things that seem completely irrelevant can be the most important pieces, if not there.
Mm-hmm. Yep. It's just people are getting frustrated. Hang on, I think I got it. And then she will subside back into the couch, trying out this new game. Resistance.
All
and
right.
that's all she wanted to do.
Yeah. And Anya will slip back behind the desk.
Which is probably about when other people start showing up.
Well, Ingvar did have her specific training that she was doing as well prior to the meeting.
Okay.
Which is mostly just for anyone who might be observing. She's specifically in the courtyard has dug a spiral into like a circle with several spirals like that drive from the center out to the edges, and placed weapons, her fang dagger primarily in her hand, and several approximations of what she could find for different weapons around the outside.
Okay.
Which is probably sticks at this point because she doesn't have hammers and swords and other stuff to set out there at the moment. But she started to build up a rhythm where she starts in the center with the fang dagger and performs her katas and motions, stepping along the spiral to one of the edges, where she grabs an approximation weapon, plants the fang dagger, goes back into the spiral, steps back out of it to a different point, and has begun building momentum moving across that spiral for basically the entire time leading up to the meeting.
Okay.
There's a drum beat happening somewhere in the background and nobody knows why or from where.
Yeah.
And it's increasing with the pace.
You do notice, I mean, Ingvar is probably very focused on her practice and her training, but situational awareness is definitely something that's been sort of prodded into her as well, so that you're not entirely blotted out of your surroundings. And you'll notice occasional foot traffic back and forth across the open quad. People see you're definitely doing this under some level of observation, at least.
And it is this sort of constant flow of motion of, with one weapon moving across the spiral pattern, transition to the next weapon, repeat, continue across, transition, to sort of get in a flow of kata with every weapon that she can get her hands on and try to practice with, basically.
Yep. Yeah, no, you'll burn an hour or two with that pretty easily, yeah. But in lieu of any other things, we will push forward to the moment when everyone is assembled in Anya's workspace.
Sorry, Aaron made me laugh.
It's a genuine thing that I feel, okay? I'm trying to be funny.
I agree with you.
To the viewers,
something
we're snarking off in chat about how we were going to start with the meeting, and an hour and 48 minutes later, we're just now maybe getting to the meeting.
But yeah, Anya has continued reading The Art of War and just sort of trying to tune out the fact that Alex is breathing in the space right now.
So feel free to arrange your icons wherever you would want to deploy in the meeting.
Oh goodness, I have to move my.
This is, for the record, a TV stand. It's really hard to distinguish TV stands from bookshelves in the software.
Is this thing against the wall a window?
That's the door, I believe.
This is the door.
That's why it's got the little
arc thing
on it.
From it. Yep.
There aren't any windows, actually. You would notice that.
Yeah.
Well, that's going to be unfortunate for people.
In that they can't be pushed out of my windows.
Thrown through, various things.
Dakota's just going to be
The entire
sprawled out
room is
across the
soundproof,
back of the
and
couch.
there are no windows. Two things you probably would have noticed about this space.
Imagine the reason Dakota is sprawled across the back of the couch is because Hikau is on the couch, and Hikau has gotten the impression that he's not allowed to leave Dakota's side.
Correct assessment
at the moment.
Yeah,
She's a babysitting
from multiple
for a while.
people.
Right. Yep. You need your emotional support, Lupus, in a time like this, sir.
Yep.
Also, Dakota will show up with like the rest of that food.
Yeah, because
Hikau
Hikau
did not eat.
Hikau did
There's
not
about
eat
half
all
of the
it.
continental breakfast.
A tray of food, and even more flour.
Movable or fold-outable like food tables beyond just the coffee table in the center, which does have probably some breakfast breads that none of you are familiar with necessarily.
Hikau got like a fifth of the way through that food, and then grabbed something that he could eat slowly so that Dakota could see that he was still eating, but not, and began translating the ritual into his notebook. And that's what he's still doing. And Dakota arrives. He sort of comes through only half paying attention and writing in this bound leather journal that he has.
I feel like Dakota's just got him by the arm.
Yeah.
No, this way. Come on.
Yep.
All right. So everybody's here. Who's going to start this? Who's going to light this candle?
Yeah, I feel like Aiden comes in last.
Okay.
Setting is, let's be honest, the broom aspect got broken off.
Oh yeah.
Because I don't care how good of a broom it is.
No.
You're not effectively practicing your staff fighting if it's severely weighted on one end.
No.
So to make it oddly weird, he comes in with a broken broom handle. Sort of sets it down. Hey guys.
Hello.
All right.
So somebody called this. It definitely was not me.
Is tagged in the details of meeting who arranged.
Me.
Your magician's apprentice thing not work out, boss?
Oh, I had to. Proper equipment or not, I still have practice to do.
Well, this is not necessarily topic of meeting. I do have fair amount of woodworking skill and equipment on site. While I cannot make something that is of martial quality, if you have details of weight and kind, I can produce a quick substitute after this.
I will keep that in mind. So, Alex, what's up?
So, I figured we needed to talk about what happened in the battlegrounds and that fight and what came after and kind of go from there. I have heard some frustration with the way that people were deployed across that last thing, and if battles are we're going to have another one, and it's going to be against not the same but similar foe. It's good to learn from what came before. So
legit, fair enough. What's the concerns? Like, what's the frustrations?
That you put the fighter was put on babysitting duty instead of the front lines, that a bodyguard was put on the front lines.
Can I ask something?
Yes.
Are these your concerns?
Yes.
Are they
Insight
only
check.
your concerns?
No, they're not.
That's what I thought.
It's important to air grievances before they become actual problems.
Yes. I don't want anybody to feel like they have to speak through someone else.
No. I was just waiting for an opening.
Fair.
I'll sit back.
So, let's be honest here, this is mostly myself and Sal.
Okay.
And the important thing here is that more than just this fight, but in general, I'm feeling like a chained attack dog, which is not what I am.
Okay.
Not just in this fight, but in several situations, I have been relegated to stand back and wait for being told what to do. And I get the consistent impression that people don't trust that I have any kind of control over myself.
Okay.
In this particular instance, it's the fact that, yes, I was stationed back to guard the situation when the place that I am most effective is where I can be at the front.
Right. I can understand your perspective on that.
But in general, my personal issue is the fact that it seems very clear that no one trusts me to maintain myself, and so they're trying to keep me out of situations where I could potentially be violent.
I can understand where you could perceive that as being the case.
And Sal has his own problems as well, but I'm curious.
Sure. So I'll break this down in the micro and in the macro, in regards to this one fight, and in general. In regards to this one fight, I put our best combatant in the most important role. The place where our best combatant was needed. It's that simple. I understand it's not on the front lines. Any of us can fire a gun. Any of us can go Krynos and charge in and fight a bunch of foot soldiers and infantry. There was one role specifically that needed to be handled because they were going to send their most important people there, their most deadly people there. And that was protecting the ritual. I understand it's frustrating to have to sit back and watch while other fights are going on, but you're the best suited person to bodyguard.
I don't quite think that's the case, which goes into Sal's.
Sal has just been listening quietly, and he says, "Yeah, look. The other thing, we're talking about roles here. It's a question of assigning things. You're the pack alpha.
Yep.
I get that you want to pick things here and there, but the whole point of alpha is that it shifts depending on position. You're the pack alpha.
Can I step in here? That's factually not true about as far as how packs work.
Okay, are we talking out of character?
That was an in-character statement.
Okay. And if I can step back in, that's a load of fucking bullshit. You look at the litany, I'm sure if we talk to our Galliards here, there is plenty of precedent for situational shifting of who the alpha is in any given situation.
I must apologize. While Galliards can tell stories of the history, it is the
Philodox decides the litany.
Wait. Sorry, Arun and Philodox are the ones I always get mixed up.
Yep,
it is Philodox's responsibility to interpret the litany. Also, Jack, can I make a history roll so you don't tell me later that I'm wrong about this?
Absolutely. Go ahead and make a intelligence, and what sort of thing is are you going back for?
Stories about, because this is something Anya would have been taught as a Philodox and as a Galliard.
Mm-hmm.
Probably some sort of intelligence leadership role on the difference between people being consulted for their specialties and the alpha shifting because YOLO.
That would be intelligence and
I think it's probably etiquette or leadership from what I can understand.
So those are a little more active in terms of like knowledges and examples and stuff like that. That will either be academics or law.
Fine. Intelligence and academics.
Academics? All right. Intelligence, academics, difficulty 7.
Well, and let me interject because we are having a lot of
I am asking the GM about the facts of the universe, not you.
Yeah, you can interject in just a minute.
Well, and that's what I would like to do as well, because I would like to ask for clarification from the GM too.
Once we get there.
Yep. So for Anya's, so yes, in current setting.
I'm just saying, does Anya have those stories as a resource?
You definitely have stories of packs that run on the alpha always acts as the primary leader in any sort of pack activity. You also have stories based around packs that tend to shift the leadership position based on the situation at hand. And for just for an in-universe sort of overarching statement, leading an activity, even a pack activity, does not make you a temporary alpha. Alpha is not a temporary position. If someone is the alpha, then they are the alpha. The only time they stop being the alpha is if they are challenged or they die or something like that. If Aiden were to sort of cede leadership temporarily for an occult thing to Hakao, that doesn't make Hakao now the acting alpha. He's just the current directing expert. Aiden doesn't lose alpha unless he either voluntarily relinquishes it, is challenged for it, or some other thing takes it permanently out of his hands. Yes.
So then the way Anya would finish that sentence is, but should I be called upon by the fillet docs? I do know the story is that my it be history they wish to consider. I apologize.
Nope, you're good.
The reason I wanted to ask out of character is because I wanted to make sure I wasn't misremembering it, which I was.
Yeah.
So
That's okay. Yeah.
Sal would not have used the word alpha. He would have said in charge, because I, as a player, am misremembering it.
I just want to point something out. That's more common among glasswalkers. So it's very conceivable that Sal could have that perspective.
Yeah.
Right. Well, I mean, I'm being told I don't get to interpret the world in different ways. So
sorry.
I'm just stepping back here.
I should qualify that as the traditional interpretation of the litany.
Yes.
Yeah. Situationally, any pack can do whatever they want.
When the GM gives someone information because they rolled for it, and then someone retcons their statement based on it, who is not the person who rolled, that's frustrating.
I tried to stop you before you rolled to say, wait, am I screwing up? But I'm done.
Carry on.
So that aside, here's my question. If I understand your guys' concerns. I made the decision. I made the plans. We had a full night that passed. If you had ideas for how to do it better, there was plenty of time to bring them up to me. Have I given you the impression that I'm not willing to accept feedback?
You giving me the impression that when things take off, you're the one who, the minute your gun misfires, you say, fuck it, and you jump into combat.
Okay, I'm not talking about that at the moment. I'm talking about the fact that there was a plan that was made and there was disagreement with the plan. We can address that part in a minute.
Well, tag me back in when we're back to that subject.
Okay.
Then.
Like, there was. I want to see what. I am more than willing. If you think that if you ever think there's a better way to do something, I'll listen. I might listen and say, okay, there's this, but this is the way I think is the best way to do it. But I'm confused and I'm honestly wondering if there's a point where I gave the implication that you shouldn't offer your input.
I think it's because we started off in war, in something going weird,
and that's fair.
That would be
And
there. It is.
We can hear you now.
Okay.
Oh,
Hikao's the scratching of a pen that has been going on the entire time from Hikao stops. While it was never explicitly stated, and this does not just go for you. There has been, and I understand this is part of our nature, several times where several of us as a group have determined that we are correct. And the emotion of the moment and the emotion of the reactions to anyone disagreeing has been disagreements will not be tolerated. This is not a sole person that does this. I'm sure I've done it on part of who we are as werewolves. Rage
Mhm.
can often make that emotion manifest. But that is worth noting that there are certainly impressions that arguing is undesired, or
So
speaking of mind, less encouraged when it is an important issue.
if that's the case, then to clear that up, it shouldn't be. I mean, yes, I'm gonna get annoyed if you push boundaries where they're not supposed to be pushed. And I'm talking about personal boundaries. I'm talking about things like that. And I will be, look, I've got issues. I'm aware of that fact. I am flagrantly neon sign aware of that. But when it comes to what I'm doing, as far as my role, if you ever have any suggestions, I am more than happy to hear them. I'll ultimately probably make the decision, but I'm always going to take that into account. Now, as far as Ingvar, why you feel like you've been held back, it's twofold. Part of it is our very first fight. I felt you went in too quickly, so yes, I wanted to pull you back a little bit. The other part is my job here isn't. I'm not here just to handle from mission to mission to mission and us do stuff. Ultimately, my job here is to make you all ready to be essentially the absolute fucking legends among the crew that you're going to be. The one place that you really don't need help is in a fight. That's why I pull you back. If it's not absolutely 100% crucial, Hekau needs to learn how to fight. So does Dakota. So does Sal. You guys are fine fighting in certain respects, but so does Anya. So does Alex. You need to be the person who they're going to rely on to learn things, which has been the case because you've been working with them. We didn't cover that directly in character stuff, but
No, we did training
discussion.
sessions.
Yeah.
You are the person who's been working with them, and should something absolutely horrible go wrong, and you go down, they lose their best teacher. That's why I pull you back. I have real good reasons for those kinds of things. And I guess for me, the bigger question is, honestly, do you guys trust me to make these decisions? I didn't explain this before because it's a lot harder to grow in your spots if you're being told exactly what needs to be the case, if it's everything's spelled out. If you learn it naturally, that you're going to come across a lot easier.
That matter, I think there's a disagreement, because to me, if you had stated, I need you to hang back because I need you to help these people improve in combat and I can't risk losing you, that would have taken a lot of the pressure and feeling of being on a leash off of me.
And that's fair. I'm not I'm real good at reading people. I'm going to be honest. That there's not a lot of I'm proud about what I can do. That's one of the things, but that's not a perfect science. So if I should have spelled that out and didn't, my apologies.
And if I might, it is
Jeremy,
so vital.
message in the chat if you
Okay.
didn't see it yet. Sorry, go ahead, Aaron. Didn't mean to interrupt.
No worries. You need to get in, and you're the GM, so that's your job. If I might, part of the value is in the asking. Ingvar, you're the kind of person that feels better when you have that explanation. Some of us are not. And sometimes there is no time for explanation. But if we are talking about people who doing as they have been trained to and being considered in their specialties, I will confess I did make suggestions to Aiden. Because, believe it or not, as someone who abandoned my original moon and disgraced Luna and whatever, I was trained from birth as a battlefield commander to be that perspective. Not to be alpha, because for Silverfang, alpha and Arun are the same. But to be the tactical mind upon the battlefield. I have had extensive tutoring from acclaimed experts. I have read all ancient and modern experts and their perspectives on these wars. On war. That is something that I do, and perhaps I intuited differently and just brought my suggestions to the person who would ultimately be making the decision. My suggestion that the one person who might be able to, two people who might be able to influence the actions of the one who needed the most protection be placed with him.
In that particular moment, can I issue the point that what would have been my preferred plan in that particular instance for comparison?
Absolutely.
In that moment, you mentioned that you wanted to place me there because the most important targets of the enemy would be coming to that place to interrupt the ritual. To me, if they have gotten to the ritual, they have gone too far. I should have been out hunting them, bringing them down before they got to the lines.
And that's fair, but they were going to make it there.
And
that's a matter of historical knowledge and the fact that there were too many. We were not gonna stop them.
It's a matter of historical knowledge. I have not taught the history of this place.
Exactly.
So.
That's my point. We weren't gonna stop them from getting there. But in a lot of other situations, that would absolutely be a valid point. It's not even invalid there, but
you had the ability to read the battlefield that someone positioned in a place that would probably need to redeploy themselves would be able to capitalize
on. But yeah, I'm always, to reiterate, if you've ever have input to offer, please offer it. And that goes for pretty much any situation. And that goes for not just Ingvar on combat or Hekau in spirit stuff or Sal when it comes to being a wise ass. Or joke in terms of city stuff. Or so on or so forth.
I thought they were called wise guys.
Yeah, Sal pipes up and says, "Yeah, it's wise guy."
Yeah, no, I said what I said, and I meant what I said.
Elephant's faithful, 100%.
Sal just waves at Aiden.
I like the idea that Hekau, for some reason, is actually familiar with Dr. Seuss.
Right?
He's traveled a lot.
Yeah.
Dr. Seuss exists outside of America, Jack.
I know.
But that situation, is that handled? Have we addressed that well enough for you? Honest question. That's not me trying to be snarky about it.
If I might, I would like to add one more thing for us all to think about. It is possible, with all your training, with all your knowledge and experience, for everyone to be wrong.
Yep.
For instance, I did not correctly know that when you die in the battlegrounds, you are shutted out. I was operating under the assumption that we would have to get out our own, find a way out.
Right.
And so,
none of us knew that.
Some advice that, yes, but when Realms of the Spirits, the Theurge is supposed to know things.
You're supposed to know things. Nobody expects you to be omniscient about this stuff. You're still a Clea. There are things they haven't told you.
But the point of the thing is that no matter how good we are, no matter how experienced we are, no matter what we've done or who has trained us, we can all be wrong. And learning to accept that is one of the challenges of being Guru.
Yep. Which is why I want, like I said, I want opinions. If you've got something to offer, but that's not your role in the pack, there are no bad ideas. Sal, don't take that to heart.
Glambro is a bad idea.
There are vetoed ideas. There are no ideas that cannot be presented. Is that fair?
Yeah, that's fair. So, Sal, you're tagged. What's up?
You got to stop throwing yourself at the enemy here. If you're going to be leading, you got to do it like Control over here does. He points with his thumb at Anya. You got to do it from a position where you can look at everybody. You can't just say, "Oh fuck, my gun jammed. Here I go." That's how you've approached every single fucking time we've gotten into trouble. Look, I'm not.
Hold on, let him say.
Look, I'm not alpha. I think everybody agrees that's a good thing. I don't fucking want to be alpha. But I'm out there. Yeah, I get myself into trouble. I hurl myself at the enemy. That's one thing. You do the exact goddamn thing. I shouldn't be the one saying, geez, this guy is making some bad decisions when it's in regard to our fucking alpha and our philodox. So you got to either find a way to fucking take a step back or hand it off to somebody else while we're in the battle who can do that.
So I am very sorry. And I know that this is mostly directed at Aiden, but it bothers me quite a bit. I do not know what you're talking about. I understand it happened, and maybe I should hear it from you. Maybe I should hear it from Aiden. Maybe someone else would be best. But we were on other side of battlefield. First thing I knew, there was things happening, and then Aiden was in whatever the rage thing is called.
Frenzy.
Aiden was in frenzy. At that point, I took over as beta, but that's not important.
Right.
Could you offer more detail?
I think, Sal, if you don't mind, I can sort of explain this.
Well,
and
sure.
if you have corrections, feel free.
No, you got an explanation for everything else. Why not for this?
So first of all, the single situation was that when the fight started, my gun jammed. I tossed the gun away. I grabbed my staff and I ran into the fight.
From a defensible fucking position.
Correct.
Into the middle of a goddamn cavalry charge.
Correct. From a more macro perspective, Sal thinks I have a death wish.
Okay.
When you throw away your gun and run into melee with cavalry, I too would think you have a death wish.
I do understand placing down a gun that is not working in favor of a weapon you have expertise with.
And I had a fucking bag of them next to him.
Yes, you did. So, to start with, I'm going to partially agree with you. Not my best move. I had a rationale behind it, and it certainly wasn't, oh, good, here's the day that I die. Because I don't have a death wish. This may not sound better, but honestly, it doesn't really matter to me one way or the other if I live or die. That's different from a death wish before anybody says it.
No, it is. One is actively wishing to die, the other's not caring.
Correct. My job here, again, as I said, is to make you all as good as I know you are, and to keep you all alive.
With respect, no. Your job is to help us orchestrate things. You're not supposed to be in a meat shield who's the first one down.
In that situation, this is my reasoning. You can say it was invalid, and that might be the case. But at the point that the gun jammed, I had time to make a split decision. I reasoned at that moment that either I could take the time, look at you, get another gun, and the 5 or 6 seconds that's going to take, perhaps longer, or I could go in there, go Krynos, and frankly have a better chance of slowing them down. I decided to go with the option where we weren't wasting time and potentially getting more people killed.
How many large-scale battles like this you've been in, boss?
Been in?
Yeah.
None. Seen or analyzed or studied? Decent amount.
More than Control over there?
Probably not.
Then maybe you shouldn't be the one.
There wasn't time at that particular moment to say, hey, Anya, my gun just jammed. What do we do next? But
if you could stop calling me that, it would be lovely. But aside from that, I do want to point something out. Well, it is ideal to take in feedback and consideration. I think, especially for those of us with less direct combat experience, it is important to understand that while there is a higher level of the discussion of, it is also valuable to make some decision, even if it is not necessarily the ideal one.
Here's what it comes down to. Ultimately, I trust you all in the middle of a combat to make a decision and on your own. And I know that occasionally you're going to make the wrong one. And that's okay.
I mean, I'm going to quote something that Anya's probably already read 3 times, but it is better to make the wrong decision than no decision.
Exactly. And I'm going to be perfectly honest about this. At that moment, I was more likely to freeze up than anything else. You can say what you want about that. It's true. So I decided, instead of letting that happen, to make a decision. Probably the wrong decision. I would probably do it differently if I did it before, or if I had to do it again. It's a valid point.
Sal takes a long moment, staring at Aiden, and says, "So you trust us to make decisions in battle?
Yes.
And you'd rather us make a decision even if it's the wrong one?"
If a situation calls for it, yeah.
Sal sits back and crosses his arms and doesn't say anything else.
Can I get a read on that?
Yeah, I'm not even gonna get a read on it. I'm gonna be. You said that to make a point that you can play out later, and I don't feel like that's games we should be playing, Sal.
I ain't talking about anything that's going to happen in the future. I'm talking about calls that some of us here have made in the past that didn't exactly get a, "Oh, I guess you did the best in the moment."
Well, no. Again, my job is to. Oh, sorry, you guys do your reads. Sorry, I pushed through without that.
Anybody who's making a read can go wits and empathy, difficulty 6.
Yep. Can I get that reduced at all for knowing Sal more or not?
Not in this case, I don't
Okay.
think. Because Ragabash.
No problem.
Being hard to read is the Ragabash's job.
3 successes, though.
Apparently you do know Sal a little better, though.
Yeah.
What was the difficulty on that?
Difficulty 6. 3 from Dakota
3
as well.
successes.
Okay. Craig, we've got a single success and 2 3 successes if you want to say what you think they probably get out of those.
Probably with 1 success, he looks annoyed. With 3 successes, he looks furious but smug.
Okay, smug.
Like he just simultaneously won and lost an argument.
If I might make analogy.
I can't see any reason anyone would stop you.
Perhaps we could say Aiden made, I am sorry, probably wrong call.
I've made the point. Feel free.
Probably wrong call. Running out of the barricade. Has Ingvar made what was probably wrong call in erring on the side of attacking dangerous car, and Sal made probably wrong call in taking on form that did not cause delirium. All of us have made wrong calls.
Yep.
I have made many, 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 many wrong calls. All of us have. But we learn from them. We receive feedback from them. Usually, feedback comes from the alpha, simply because that is how things are delegated. And also, our alpha is also one of our philodocs. And that is the role of philodocs, to determine right and wrong after the fact. But it is role of
Nope, you're still talking.
But it is role of Galliard to tell you this. We learn from our history, both personal and cultural. We learn from the actions of our pack and the actions of ourselves. Some of us will own up to our mistakes. Some of us will insist they did not happen. And that is okay. But what is true is that if there was not that knowledge, we would be weaker for it. And if the warriors of Gaia cannot stand on a battlefield and choose to do something, we would have died long ago. Can I get I'm a werewolf thing out of that? Because I'm sure Aaron was stuttering through the entire thing.
That was good.
Go ahead and give me we will call this one charisma and expression.
Okay.
Difficulty 6, pure breed. Dots give you extra dice on this one.
How many extra dice is that?
I think that's the only thing that gives you extra dice on this one.
Yeah. Well. Yeah, I don't think Insomniac helps.
No, it actually does not.
Wide-eyed, I have not slept yet. Doesn't really.
Well, no, you can't tell because I just don't sleep that much.
Right.
Because that's how werewolves can be. Fucking hell!
Wow.
But what we're saying is the person with the jitters holding a cup of coffee is the most prestigious individual in the room.
It doesn't come off as well as you'd hoped, but your point at least gets across.
For the record, I rolled like so many dice.
9
Nine dice. Yep.
1 success.
That's
Yep.
happened to me before.
That
Yeah,
sucks when that
that's
happens.
unfair.
That happens to all of us.
So, short version, you're right. I was kind of critical. I don't think I was as critical as you're implying I was being after that first fight. I feel like I threw out a lot of negatives and positives. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe my perspective on that was not correct. I wasn't in the greatest headspace at that particular point either. So I concede your point. I also say, however harsh you think I might have been, was probably pretty gentle compared to most. In that respect, in the respect of that particular part, I need to be the drill instructor type. When it comes to immediate debrief after a fight. Also, we had just met each other. Different context.
Jeremy, you got my last in chat.
Yes,
right?
yes. It's noted. It's something you have valid points, Sal. I will keep those in mind. Unfortunately, we kind of have to cut this a little short because we were about to have elders coming in.
Yeah.
Like right now.
Anya will go and open the door because it's my fucking door.
You
I'm gonna
open the
shift my
door.
legs over and sit up.
And directly in front of you is Walter Hempstead. Joanna Tarati is standing at his shoulder. And behind them, finishing a cigarette, is Irving Silverstein, the right master for the Sept.
Is?
I apologize if we're interrupting, but
It's all right.
it's time.
I'll step back because Aiden clearly knows what's going on.
So we need to be debriefed, people, about what happened, the ritual, looking over at Hekau.
But we will do this at the Cairn's Heart.
Of course.
Jack,
I'm
question.
gonna go over and stand by Dakota.
Yes, Hekau.
What's the etiquette on because if it was anything other than werewolf, what I would do is tear out the paper that I've been writing in and just hand it to the right master. But in werewolf, there are etiquettes involved for simple things like providing information. So What is the etiquette on providing the right master with a right that I have learned that was previously lost?
So this is a roll that anybody can make if you want. But it will be intelligence and etiquette, difficulty 6 currently.
All right.
I'm curious about this.
Sure.
And so it's not something I already know. Okay, good to know. Do I get any sort of bonuses, negatives for being a Theurge already?
Well, this is just your ability to interpret what's being implied here currently. This isn't this is the prelim roll to your question, John.
Got it.
I have 2.
3.
Sorry, what was the roll again?
Intelligence and intelligence and etiquette, difficulty 6.
You make the roll if you have no points, no dots in etiquette.
Yes.
Yes.
Difficulty goes up by 1 though. So difficulty 7.
Guesses.
Yeah, all right. So all of you are
Except me,
exception of Aiden, who is still
who apparently has forgotten.
kind of wrapped.
things.
Aiden,
Yeah.
who is just getting out from behind the door and is just kind of wrapped up. Aiden, this isn't really a particularly necessary one for you
Yeah.
because you got the text, so you already know what's about to happen.
Right.
This is not entirely specifically just a debrief. At a lot of places, they'll call it the rite of commendation or things like this. You guys completed a spirit quest, which means you guys are going to need to report on that. And then there's going to be a ceremony a little bit, and you guys will be known as a pack who completed a spirit quest with the sort of social reputation that implies coming along from this. What's happening right now is less of the tactical debrief, making sure all the bits of knowledge are in the right hands. Probably what's going to happen, everybody got more than one success. Who got successes, right?
Yep.
Is that one or both of the Galliards are supposed to tell their best story, impressive but accurate, of what happened. And then Silverstein is probably here to mostly do the ritual side. The 2 elders that are present will be doing the judgment thereof and sort of determining what this sort of means for your relative status within the sept itself. So with that, Hekau, you know that this is not the time when you would hand over
Got it. Okay.
the paper.
Understood.
Maybe after, yeah.
During the part where it's asked for.
Right. Mm-hmm. But yeah, no, at that point, yeah, because the whole "and we learned a new right" thing will probably come out in the story, at which point Irving will probably perk up his ears a little bit and make a mental note to have a conversation with Hekau after this at some point.
So there's the clicking sound of a journal closing and being locked as a cow stands up.
And the elders turn and start walking towards the sculpture in the middle of off to the side of the parking lot there.
Yep.
If
Ingvar, go ahead.
No.
I was making a positional note because Ingvar, as the group starts to walk out, Ingvar makes a personal point to stand in her combat circle because that was specifically in the courtyard by the Cairn's Heart.
Okay. As we're walking over, if I can do so somewhat subtly and quietly to Dakota, are you going to be okay with this? Do you need me to take the lead or do you want it?
I'll be all right with it. If you want to maybe start, that would be preferable.
Of course. This is the story of your people. Well, and I would not take it from you, but we are packed.
Yeah,
so I will take what you need. Cool.
You guys are clustered to the side of the Cairn Heart there.
I'll hold up a piece of food.
Are there any other people around? We're kind of in the middle of things.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah. No, you see Vincent Black Shadow and a couple members of his pack leaning down, very intently watching from one of the apartment balconies. The Boulder Hunters, 2 of them are present as well. The other 2, you assume, off doing guardian things. Juniper's there. None of the kinfolk are present. Silverstein lights a bundle of herbs that begins to smoke and smolder, and he puts it in a small brass bowl in front of the cairn. Dear God, Craig.
No, just a regular raccoon was on the porch. I had to chase it off.
Yeah, no, that's fair. The smoke begins to corkscrew into the morning air, late morning at this point. You guys can feel the heat of the sun beating down on your shoulders from where you're standing. And he begins a quiet chant. Chant of respect and veneration to the spirit that inhabits the cairn, Menegwo, to the umbra of the city and the spirits of the city itself, to Gaia as the overarching spirit and patron of the Garou nation. Ending this first opening liturgy with, and now, as all concerned are assembled here in the sight of those spirits who have given of themselves so that we may walk this material side of the gauntlet, we will hear the tale of the Mojave Green, wings of the Mojave in the battleground. And he turns to face Alex and Anya, or Dakota and Anya.
Sal crosses himself.
You kind of sprung this on me. I was trying to script.
Sorry.
Fine. Yeah. Unless Dakota changes her mind, Anya will start.
She'll like nod at Anya, and she'll also kind of take her hand for support.
Mm-hmm. By Moonbridge, we traveled deep into the Umbra, to the battlegrounds. Signs we passed, pursuing in the knowledge of ancestors long fallen. Uktena massacred in a battle that I promise I really should have looked up the name
Bearpaw.
of. In a battle of Bearpaw. On the side of a river, a small encampment, hoping for relief. Surrounding them, the battlegrounds placed weaver spirit. It's in suits, with arms foreign to the century of the true battle. He surveyed the past grounds and found evidence of our ancestors. Again, I have to mulligan for the name of the guy.
Looking Glass.
Yep.
Looking Glass. Tennessee heard met with us and called to us. He joined his tribe and Looking Glass has made effort to a right to create a clave
Fetish.
to create a fetish by ritual that could cut through the web of the weave or truly and completely. This knowledge he shared to a cow in two parts, the ritual presumed, at dusk and at dawn. At dusk we plan, and alongside our our newfound allies. Yes, he armed them with our knowledge, and they armed us with theirs. And looking glass with a cow by his side to assist his called upon spirit. It's to begin the ritual. At dawn we prepared for battle, and Looking Glass with a cow at his side, he'd began the second part of the ritual. The pack divided along the two fronts of the fight, to east and west, as spirits in suits united as Weaver with Black Blood came, and endless army one with their horses. They carved through and overran, and a swarm of black breaking on and cresting over our defenses. And Anga's gonna look to see if Dakota wants to take over, if she should continue.
Dakota will squeeze her hand and take a deep breath. I'm sorry, where exactly what was the last thing you said?
The last thing was they sort of started to overwhelm us. The implication was, do you want to take the part of the story where we all die, or do you want me to do that?
Sorry, as a player, I'm just trying to remember everything that played out there.
Totally fair. Yeah.
Yeah, it was roughly at about that point that Alex got killed right next to you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then eventually one after another, and then you ended up shunted out.
I died first.
That's true, you did, but you weren't right. But you weren't right next to Dakota, so I kind of feel like that probably was a little more prominent in your mind.
I just wanted to be clear. I died first.
I died last.
Yes, you did.
And I killed more people than Aiden did.
Yes, you did.
She'll take a deep breath and continue. At this point, things began to grow grim for not just our allies, but us as well. It began to turn into a slaughter as I witnessed Alex killed in front of me. I believe our alpha was killed at around the same time. Anya called for us to retreat, and she called for us to retreat, and I began to make my way there. It was very difficult. I tried to kill my way through the enemy. I also witnessed most of the rest of the pack fall one by one until I myself fell and Hakao was left.
Hakao and Ingvar. Ingvar was the second last to die.
Oh, was she? I'm so sorry. I forgot that.
It's all good.
Okay. Sorry.
It all happened really fast.
Yeah, it did. Sorry. Until I fell, and then Hakao and Ingvar were left, and they fell shortly after. After that, she's gonna stop. Like, her voice breaks a little bit, and she's just gonna look at Anya.
Yeah. Noticing that Anya will take over. We found ourselves in desolate plain, Deadlands, familiar to the spirit of our pack?
Yeah, your totem spirit. Yep.
Spirit of our pack. Dustbringer spoke to us. These were dangerous lands, ancient and dead. And to how called upon the spirits of the place, finding a hummingbird. Did I forget something?
No, you're doing just fine.
I have eidetic memory, so call me out if I'm missing something.
You're right on.
Anya
right
would
on point.
know.
Mhm.
Calling upon the spirit, feeding it and so it could go stronger and take us faster. The spirit navigated us to the nearest place, a transition zone from which we could get to our own land. And we ran that way. But this was a dangerous place. And there was a dark den we passed by, full of malice and death, full of some ancient, terrible thing. We passed it by, we fled, had its gnaw and teeth, scraping by to ancient stone that we passed through from a deserted desert to a desert of snow, rocks and glaciers of ice, and the spirit of navigation called by Hekau continued us on, guiding us through this icy land of transition into a frozen lake that became a temperate lake, bringing us to the near Umbra in, what was the name of
Lake Mead.
Lake Mead?
Lake Mead.
Bringing us to the near Umbra of Lake Mead. From there, we faced mundane challenges. Sal stood up and took the front to who sheltered the eyes of mortals so we could pass through unnoticed, with Aiden by his side. I'm not leaving out the part where he was high. I'm just not saying that part.
No, it's good. It's very good.
Legit.
Yeah. Do I feel like we took a car ride back is a necessary part of this story? Because
probably not.
Anya doesn't know how to make that sound epic. And
you could probably land this plane anytime.
Yeah. And then back we went to where the moon bridge had taken us from, with new knowledge, with new strength, with new sorrow.
I will have Dakota and Anya both give me charisma and expression rolls, difficulty 6.
Since everyone here is a werewolf, does my pure breed apply?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. 4 dots of that, and I'm spending a willpower for an auto success.
You can spend willpower.
Nice.
Wow.
Nice. Wow.
Dakota just rolls a casual 6.
You know.
There
and
we
Anya
go.
rolls a casual 7.
Hey.
Yep.
7.
So 13 successes between the two of
Unless
them.
this is
No.
corporate double talk, in which case it's more than that.
It is
Officially
not
at
corporate
this
double
point-
point.
None of us in the pack remember anything that wasn't in this story anymore.
Right.
We've been convinced this
Sal
is
has
exactly
never
what
been
happened.
high in his life.
Sal got high specifically to shelter mortal eyes werewolf thing.
Well,
Yep.
yeah, and Guru society does not have any of the stigma
No.
against drug use that frequently mortal
I
society.
mean, you think we
sometimes
wouldn't,
does.
considering that some of us worship drugs.
Right.
I mean, yes, but the big concern there is how much toxin is actually in it.
Right.
Like, is that a worm drug? That's a problem.
Right.
Anyways.
Anyways,
Yeah.
you guys finish your story, and it is deadly quiet.
Don't use the word.
I'm
deadly.
sort of squeezing Dakota's hand.
She does
And-
not look like she's doing well right now.
Silverstein kind of tilts his head to the side, and there's, for the very first time any of you have seen, there's like kind of a half grin on his face.
I've seen that half grin.
Oh, that's right. You are the only one, actually.
I'm the only
who
one
has-
that's seen that half
You
grin.
right, except for Hikal.
Smiling.
I think we just won, guys. I think we just won Werewolf the Apocalypse.
And
For the record, that
pulls
was my
out-
willpower roll not to stand up and start clapping.
and he pulls out a pot, a small ceramic pot that you guys are familiar with. You saw this the first night that he did the rite for you guys entering into the existence of your pack. Begins pacing past you one at a time, painting a different series of symbols across your faces and foreheads. Thus, under Gaia's gaze, we confirm the deeds of this pack, deeds of wisdom, honor, and glory for their sept, for their tribes, and for the nation. We mark their choices and their courage. We mark their anger and their shed blood. And as he comes to Dakota and Alex specifically, he does the silver kind of grease paint substance, whatever it is. And then he pulls out something else, black, smells kind of ash, and just smears lines across whatever scars you still have from your healing from the wounds that you sustained in the battleground specifically, drawing an extra mark on the two of you. Blessed are we this day that Gaia's warriors are strong. The elders sort of clasp their hands behind their back. And there's a moment of silence. Then they sort of just incline their heads to all of you as a group briefly. And Joanna closes the ritual. These words we speak before Gaia. May they run to the ears of the nation as swiftly as they do to hers. You may go. Hekau.
Yes.
You
7
were
temporary
slow.
glory,
Ooh.
5 temporary honor, 8 temporary wisdom.
So I'm
If
already
any of that puts you over 10, you put in a permanent and you just carry over the remainder into your temporary run.
I was on the wrong. Give me that.
That's
again.
okay. Yep. 7 temporary glory.
7. That puts me right at the top for glory. So
That's a full 10?
Yeah.
All right. So clear out that row and put one more permanent glory
Okay.
in. 5 honor.
That also puts me at a full 10.
Okay. 8 wisdom.
I was already at a full 10 wisdom, so I go down to 8 and
Right.
get another one.
Yep.
Yep.
Aiden.
Yo,
8 glory.
okay.
8 honor.
Hold on. Wait a minute. I need to do a little quick.
Okay.
Okay. 8 honor.
Mm-hmm.
So that is. Okay.
You got 8 glory, 8 honor, 5 wisdom.
Okay.
Dakota. They're wrapping this rite in with your first rite of wounding. So 10 glory. So you can just leave how much glory you have in and just put in a single permanent one if you want.
Okay.
5 honor. 5 wisdom. Alex, same for you. 10 glory, 5 honor, 5 wisdom. Ingvar, 9 glory, 5 honor, 5 wisdom. Anya, 8 glory, 5 honor, 5 wisdom. And
Wait.
Sal, oh, sorry, go.
8 glory takes me that 5 honor. Sorry, I'm bad at arithmetic. How many
That's okay.
wisdom?
5 wisdom.
Okay, that brings me to 1 total, 1 complete honor.
Okay.
3
So yeah, if
complete
you- if
glory
you're-
with
you're
1
filled up- if
temporary
you're-
glory and 5 temporary wisdom. With
Okay.
Where's the place in the book where your starting ones were? I know it's a place somewhere in
You're a
here.
Philodox, it's 030.
It's what? 030? Thank you.
It's 0 glory, 0 permanent glory, 3 permanent honor, 0 permanent wisdom.
Okay.
Mhm. And Sal, 8 temporary glory, 5 temporary honor, 6 wisdom.
This is a point where Aiden is glad that this is not meant that this stuff is not actually measured in points, so Sal doesn't get to argue, I got more wisdom than you in this.
All right.
When
And-
there's, oh, sorry.
And in the aftermath of your guys' first rite of commendation for the Mojave Green Sept, that is where we are going to finish this week.
Say goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
Goodbye.
From the midst of the mountains, a deafening call bellows down over the plains. On a host of battle-worn ears it will fall, pushing out through the thunder and rain. These men of the north, they have suffered too long. The anger, it swells in their veins. Of the spirited roars of lost warriors' songs, distant echoes are all that remain. And my voice is my violence. Hear the skies frozen tears, and no more will be silent with this avant-garde song in our ears. And we stand tall, sons of the snow, we will not fall under these blows, for our hearts they are hardy, our spirits are strong, and our voices are lifted into this avant-garde song. this avant-garde song in our ears, and we stand tall, sons of the snow, we will not fall under these blows, for our hearts they are hardy, our spirits are strong, and our voices are lifted into this avant-garde song, this avant-garde song. Are strong and our voices are lifted into this avant-garde song.